Brian Robinson Jr.'s unexpected arrival at Halas Hall has sent seismic shockwaves through the Chicago Bears locker room, igniting a fresh chapter in a saga that desperately needs a hero to step up alongside quarterback Caleb Williams. With the pressure on head coach Ben Johnson to mend a faltering offensive line that's become a breeding ground for uncertainty, Robinson's addition fuels both hope and speculation in a city longing for a revitalized contender. The Bears' attempts to fortify the trenches this offseason with investments in players like Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson have been commendable, but finding a reliable long-term protector for their prized QB has proven elusive. However, Robinson's dynamic skill set could provide the spark needed to ignite the Bears' offense when games matter most. With Ozzie Trapilo's recent move from left tackle to right tackle adding layers of complexity, fans are left holding their breath as they watch Braxton Jones, Theo Benedette, and Kieran Amagaji tussle for a waning left tackle spot. None have offered the reassurance this franchise so desperately craves. As the clock ticks down to the 2026 NFL Draft, and with the Bears securing the right to the 15th overall pick, the prospects of selecting a proven commodity like Caden Proctor from Alabama loom large. His trajectory has been nothing short of impressive as he's evolved from allowing 12 sacks in his freshman campaign to a mere 3 in his eventual starter role, positioning him as a cornerstone these Bears can finally trust. What if Johnson and general manager Ryan Poles don't just stabilize a floundering line, but also unveil Robinson as a multifaceted weapon capable of carrying Chicago into a new era of offensive ferocity while drawing from the ghosts of legendary Bears teams? In a franchise defined by grit and tenacity, the pendulum may very well swing either way. Will this be the moment the Bears craft a future rivaling the glory days of the monsters of the Midway? Or are they inching closer to a repeat of the 2010 collapse that left fans shattered? But this is where the danger begins. The potential fallout could be far worse than anyone expects. In a division that's consistently become a minefield of contention, any misstep could tilt the NFC North forever. And the most shocking twist is yet to unfold. Can Chicago turn this infusion of talent into a cohesive force, or will it become yet another installment in a lengthy history of failure? What if the final score of the season isn't just about wins and losses, but rather the haunting echoes of what could have been? The clock is ticking. Are the Bears ready to seize their destiny, or are we destined for another heart-wrenching chapter in this storied franchise? Chicago, are you ready to reclaim our pride and ignite the flame of a new era? As Brian Robinson Jr. settles into Halas Hall, whispers swirl that this isn't merely an addition, it's a seismic shift that could recalibrate the entire landscape of Bears football. Talk around Vine Street suggests that Robinson's versatility isn't just a bonus, it's a ticket to transforming our beleaguered offense into a powerhouse. But that's just the twist nobody in Halas Hall saw coming. What if Robinson pairs with Caleb Williams to become a dynamic duo reminiscent of the greats, breathing life into an ailing offensive strategy that has haunted this team for years? With traps closing in on our already shaky offensive line, the implications of this partnership could send palpable chills through all 100,000 seats at Soldier Field. Yet, another rumbling emerges. Rumors of a possible trade before the deadline for a prominent left tackle have emerged, and that could reshape this foundation even further. Could Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles intertwine the fate of the season with one bold move? But wait, even more turbulence looms beyond these walls. Insiders indicate the Bears might not be finished looking at the draft board, eyeing multiple prospects who could push our current players to their limits. Imagine the locker room competition heating up. Will friendships fracture under the pressure, or will this galvanize a united front capable of competing with the Titans of the North? Picture the ghost of Walter Payton manifesting in the hallowed corridors of Halas Hall, challenging our current vision, demanding excellence. This team, shaped by echoes of '85 and the bitterness of the '10 collapse, stands at a juncture unparalleled in its history. Will we toast to triumphant victories or drown in the agony of missed opportunities? With the wind from Lake Michigan cutting through the frosty air and the cold clang of cleats echoing against the turf, fans bearing the weight of the blue and orange chant for glory that brings each heartbeat closer to destiny. As we march towards the 2026 draft, a tremendous question looms. Could the selection of Caden Proctor not just stabilize our line, but also unleash a surge of energy akin to the days of Urlacher and Hester, setting in motion the magnetic pull of a team on the brink of greatness? Yet there's more at stake than just the number on that scorebox. Will the decisions to come define another decade of heartbreak or reignite the echoes of triumph that our beloved franchise deserves? The final seconds melt away, and the tension tightens like a noose. It's 4th and 1 in the trenches, not just on the field, but in the heart of every Bears fan. Would you dare pull the trigger on a move that could solidify a dynasty or plunge us back into anguish? This team, shaped by echoes of '85 and the bitterness of the 10 collapse, stands at a juncture unparalleled in its history. It's not just another season, not just another draft cycle. This is a moment that feels like the franchise standing at the edge of a cliff, staring down into the abyss of uncertainty, with the roar of history behind it and the desperate hope of the future in front of it. Will we toast to triumphant victories, raising our glasses in celebration as Chicago once again becomes a fortress of football greatness? Or will we drown in the agony of missed opportunities, left to replay every misstep in our minds like the painful highlight reels of seasons past? The cold wind sweeping off Lake Michigan doesn't just bite into the skin, it cuts into the soul of every fan bundled up in the stands, carrying with it whispers of Peyton's endurance, Ditka's fire, and the lingering question of whether this generation can finally reclaim the pride of a city built on grit. With every clang of cleats against frozen turf, Soldier Field feels less like a stadium and more like a cathedral, a sacred ground where fans wearing blue and orange chant with voices hoarse from decades of devotion, their chants rising like prayers for glory, each syllable hammering home the desire for destiny. As we march toward the 2026 draft, the anticipation feels like electricity in the air, a static charge before the storm that could either break the drought or unleash another era of torment. The tremendous question looms. Could the selection of Caden Proctor not just stabilize our offensive line, but also unleash a surge of energy akin to the days of Urlacher's fearless command and Hester's lightning magic? Imagine Proctor planting his cleats into that sacred turf, anchoring the line with the kind of presence that transforms not just protection schemes, but the entire identity of the franchise. Could he become the cornerstone that turns broken plays into touchdowns, frustration into fireworks, despair into dominance? Or will he be just another name added to the long list of prospects who arrived with promise and left with nothing but disappointment trailing behind them? Because in Chicago, the stakes are never just about talent. They're about legacy, about carrying the burden of an entire city that bleeds for its team, that lives and dies with every yard gained or lost. Yet, there's more at stake here than just the number on the scorebox. The decisions made in these coming months have the power to define another decade of heartbreak, or to reignite the echoes of triumph that this franchise has deserved for far too long. The specter of past failures lingers like frost on the field. Drafts squandered, trades that backfired, and coaching changes that promised rebirth but delivered only decay. Fans have endured it all, and their patience is no longer infinite. Each misstep chips away at hope, and yet, hope refuses to die completely. Because every true Bears fan knows that even in the darkest winters, the dream of a Super Bowl return flickers like a stubborn flame. The final seconds melt away, and the tension tightens like a noose. It's 4th and 1 not just on the field but in the heart of every fan clutching their jersey, holding their breath as if their willpower alone could tip the balance of fate. This is the crucible where champions are forged. Will management dare to pull the trigger on a move bold enough to solidify a dynasty, reshaping the very DNA of the team into something that can withstand the storms of the NFL? Or will hesitation, fear, and poor judgment plunge us back into anguish, condemning us to yet another cycle of rebuilding that never quite reaches its peak? Think of what hangs in the balance: the pride of a city, the redemption of a franchise, and the chance to finally silence the ghosts of the past. Every fan in Soldier Field knows what it means. It's more than a draft, more than a game. It's history waiting to be written in bold strokes or erased in tears. So I ask you, Bears Nation, would you dare pull the trigger, knowing it could either carve out a new dynasty of dominance or leave us stranded once again, wandering through the wasteland of regret? The choice is coming, the tension is suffocating, and when the dust settles, Chicago will never be the same.